Good day, another daily stoic. So for today, we're going to talk about a quote from Marcus Aurelius. And the quote goes like this: Just as when meat or other foods are set before us, we think, this is a dead fish, a dead bird, or pig. And also, this fine wine is only the juice of a bunch of grapes. This purple edged robe, just sheep's wool dyed in a bit of blood from a shellfish, or of sex, that it is only rubbing private parts together, followed by a spasmic discharge. In the same way, our impressions grab actual events and permeate, so we see them as they really are. So, as I was first reading this quote and the additional explanation by Ryan Holiday in his book The Daily Stoic, I did not I did not quite understood it at first, but when I read it again for the second time and for the third time when I said it in the first part of this video, what I understood was in in different areas of our life, we tend to or there are people who tend to overcomplicate things and forget or doesn't even know how to see particular event that happened, particular person, a thing, or whatever, to just see them for the way they are, for the thing itself or for the person they are, or any specific action that they're doing. So what Marcus Aurelius is talking about in this quote is that when you try to take things in their literal sense, then doing that, you're actually trying to practice seeing things in their reality without any outside bias or opinion about it. So in the first example, he's referring to a meat, the food that we eat, and the one of the most common foods or that we eat on a regular basis. If we look at it on the literal sense, it's just a dead fish, a dead bird, pig, and you just see it in their literal presentation or how it shows up in the real world. And for the wine, it's just a bunch of grapes that was turned into liquid form by extracting the juice inside that fruit. And for the purple edge rope, in which I think what he's referring to in his during his time was the the robe that most of the higher ups or the leaders from that time in the Roman Empire, since he was the leader of the Roman kingdom, he wears a purple edge robe to signify his status in the area, but he is saying that it's just a sheep's wool dyed in a bit of blood from a shellfish. So he's saying it literally and how it's made. And the part where he's talking about sex, in which it's just private parts rubbing together followed by a spasmic discharge. So if you look at it in a scientific sense, it is true. The it's just describing the act of sex and just seeing it in a literal sense. So with all of these examples that Marcus Aurelius mentioned in his quote, what I understood and the one thing that stood out from it is when you try to practice to look at things in their literal sense or for the reality of the situation, you are detaching yourself from any bias or any over or emotional reaction about things. You tend to decide or to have thoughts that would really help you focus on the things that you can control. So, if we look at things in that way or in that method or way of questioning, we can then be better at deciding on what things are really worth pursuing and worth questioning. Because if you just went with the flow, you just went with whatever life gives you, whatever situation you're placed that you're not aware of, then you will continue to see things based on your emotions, based on what other people perceive about it, and you just copy them, not what not what Marcus Aurelius is really pointing out. So I think it's another way of challenging our minds for us to be better at perceiving things and hopefully bettering or improving our life in such a way that we have clearer minds and just not let any particular thing, event, or a person affect the way we think and the way we decide on things. So I think that is it for this video. I will see you on the next. Goodbye.